All right, so this is pretty funny. It looks like there's some controversy revolving around Hasan Piker, and this seems to be because there's an allegation against him that he has exploited he's exploited an editor's labor. Basically taking the labor and not providing anything in exchange for that. Now, this is a bit of a little tacky situation. It's going to be a bit nuanced here. And we're going to get into the details. We're going to do like a little mini deep dive on this. I'm going to try to explain what I can here. Now, he's already dropped a pretty lengthy video on this, giving his side of the story. And apparently, the editor's name is a guy by the name of Blake. He posted this on Hasan's subreddit. It's titled, "Hasan exploited my labor for YouTube videos," and it goes on in this lengthy post, as you can see. Says, "Hasan gave me false hope of a full-time editing position and used me to edit between 7 and 8 videos for him. All of them combined gathering almost 300,000 views and leading to me not getting a single dime or a job." And then, it goes on very lengthy. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you guys because it's just too long. But what we are going to do is we're going to take a look at the logs, which this guy Blake has leaked logs between himself and Hasan. And we are going to take a look at these logs. These are the logs here. He dropped them himself. So this is pretty crucial because it tells us kind of what was going on within the messages, and we're gonna take a look at this. So Blake says, "Yo, you cool with people editing your Detroit playthrough to post to YouTube?" He says that would be incredible, and he says, "Damn excited to see it." And then, it does another one, and Hasan says, "Thanks." And then, he asks, "What kind of credit tagging can I give you?" And he says, "Twitter." And then he gives him, a suggestion for a video that he would want him to edit. And then, Blake makes a couple of them. And it really, as you can tell, the theme that I noticed from looking at these logs is Hasan really seemed to like the content that Blake was creating. He was a really big fan. He was overly excited about this content. He was very, very impressed by the content that this guy Blake was making, as you can see. It says, "Hey, thank you, it's incredible," and he keeps making more of them. It says, "Hell yes, I will download and upload." So he downloads the video and then, uploads it to his own channel, of course. And then he asks him to talk. And he says, "I know you talked a few times on stream about looking for a YouTube guy. I was just wondering, what criteria exactly are you looking for someone to meet? If it's not clear already, I'm interested in being that guy, LOL." And then Hasan says, "Yes, I can tell." Blake says, "I guess what I'm mostly wondering is if there's anything else you're looking for in an editor/YouTube guy." Hasan says, "Currently I'm trying to find someone who's doing exactly what you're doing, but I want someone who I can train to make breakdown vids, but longer." And then, he says, "Nope, longer. Thing is, I never meant for the editing to be so professional looking." And then Blake says, "What are some of the examples of the way breakdown vids are edited that you don't like?" He says, "The music isn't good. The jump cuts are aggressively manicured. You don't have to move me around. It's okay if there are cute cuts that are obviously cut. The comedic timing is still off." He says, "I want zooms and distortions like Zoomer ish. PewDiePie edits are very good, IMO." He says, "I think I could absolutely do that. I know how to do quite a few of the Zoomer edits. I used to edit for my brother who loves the Zoomer ish, so I've learned how to do a lot of it." And then Hasan says, "I'll get back to you ASAP." And then he says, "Uploaded the video. Did you watch the debates?" And Blake says, "I did. I'm actually rendering your talk about identity politics." Again, a theme that I noticed when reading these logs is Hasan really seems to like the content that Blake is creating. He says, "Hell yeah," and he takes it and he uploads it to his channel. And then he says, "Here's the video of some of your talk last night. If you want thumbnail, let me know." And then he says, "Did you watch the Kamala part?" And then, he keeps going. He says, "Hell yeah." And then some little banter going on there. And he says, "Awesome." And I don't think I'll ever be able to monetize a single video. Yeah, the new YouTube guidelines are impossible, dude. Damn, the Kamala Harris videos at 12K views after 12 hours is pretty good. Also, you got way more subs today than average per day. Maybe specific vids about candidates do really well. The last couple vids did real good. This debate gave me, with 21K views in one day. Andy No Skirmish at 23K and Kamala at 16K. Yeah, the titles were good. He suggests another video title. He says, "I spent 3.5 hours editing a 2-minute and 45-second long video of you playing Get Over It because it was good content." He says, "Wait, what?" Used it as an opportunity to learn a new / better editing software too. He says, OMG, I'm watching it. Incredible. He says, I put my soul into it. And as you can see, again, the theme that I see here is that Hasan really likes his content. That's what it looks like to me. You know what I'm saying? He says, I might post it on IG instead, get more viewership. He says, dude, I've been thinking the past few days, LOL, I know it's not my fault. Like what? Consider not dealing with Twitch anymore. Heard you talk about it a few times. And then Hasan says, someone sent me this for you. Easily rippable with YT, DL, EXE if you need that. It's even in 1080p. Says, oh cool. Didn't think anybody noticed that I couldn't finish the edits because of the band. Someone did. So it's hard to keep up with the edits, which is also another reason I haven't been doing anything in a while. Looking for a job to no avail. Says, oh, okay, just letting you know it's out there. I understand. I'm sorry that I don't have the kind of clout that makes other people profit off my clips yet. Or even myself, TBH, one day though. And then he says, hope you've been doing well. He says, I'm doing good. And then he says, I haven't been able to tune in as much as I used to. How has Agitprop been going on TYT? And then Blake responds a while later, what looks to be a month and a half later or something like that, by saying, hey, I know it's been a while, but are you still looking for a full-time editor? And then after he waits a week and doesn't get a response, he decides that the best route is to go out and make this public and basically to, in his mind, bring attention to the issue of this and, what's going on exactly. So there are a couple of things here, okay? What's pretty clear here is that, what Blake seemed to be trying to do was he was seeming to try to do this kind of, a tryout per se. I don't know what the right term for that would be. It's kind of like, with a record label signing an artist, right? They're going to want a demo first, right? They're going to want to hear a demo tape before they sign you. And so basically what it looks like is, Blake heard that he was looking for a YouTube editor, and he was trying to showcase his skills in video editing. And so that's what he's doing. He was hoping that would lead to him getting the YouTube job. And Hasan seemed to be kind of leading him on, taking his content, really, really liking the content. So it looked like really bad communication, kind of on both of their parts. Although I would say mainly when it comes to Blake, I think that mainly the issue that I would say is the way that he went about it at the end probably was not the best way. I mean, I think the ideal way in that scenario is to exhaust every single way you can to be able to get his attention, to get a response, which Hasan is pretty, in terms of social media, has a lot going on, right? That would have been a much better route than doing that, I think, because while he got compensated for those few videos, that pales in comparison to what could have possibly been, although what looks like now doesn't look like it could even have been possible, and that's having the YouTube editorship. Now, but Hasan definitely takes a big, solid brunt of this, at least half, if not more, because, he sort of seemed to be leading him on, really liking his content, taking his content, uploading it, but, kind of leading him on, essentially, is what he was doing. And there was just bad communication going on here, okay? And he was uploading it to his channel, of course. So that just simply, was not good. Now, is this really all that big of a deal? I don't really think so. I think it's kind of minor. Also, another thing I have to mention to you, and we'll get to this in a second, because he got into a pretty big beef. With a YouTuber by the name of Claudia Brown. You may or may not know who Claudia is. Her name used to be on YouTube Ranting Feminist, so you may or may not know who she is. But he also, the thing about this is that he seems to be under the impression that his YouTube needs to make money to pay the person who's editing the YouTube videos, which is ridiculous. He makes a lot of money on Twitch. He's got plenty of money, okay? He's got plenty of money to pay an editor to make and edit YouTube videos from his Twitch content. He makes plenty of money. He makes more than enough money to do that, okay? So he's under this weird idea that, I don't know why in his mind he wouldn't be able to, use the Twitch money to pay. I don't understand, because he's got, 4,500 subs or something like that, so it's at least $8K a month, but it's probably 10 or 12. So, and then he gets poured in by donation. I mean, this dude does 7-hour streams, like reacting to videos, and the money just pours in. So he's well off now. Like, he makes a ton of money. So he's easily got enough money to, pay an editor, a video editor. He's easily got money to do that. So there's no excuse there. Now, he really had a meltdown. He really had a meltdown. Okay. So Claudia says, amazing to see all these supposed far-left communists and socialists defending a well-off Twitch streamer not paying his workers because, well, the guy should have said he wanted money when it was pretty obvious from the logs. Wow, you guys sound like Ben Shapiro. And then he said, Hasan responds saying, yeah, not paying the editor, and it was definitely not miscommunication. I love to exploit random people who send me videos and secretly try to get away with it. I paid him already, of course, but I'm sure that's because of public pressure too, right? Someone says, so you have to earn tons of money for it to be wrong, just trying to follow the thought process. She says, I mean, based on his sub count on Twitch, he does earn a decent amount, enough to afford paying an editor. If he can't afford an editor, then he should either do it himself or grow his Twitch until he can afford one. He says, I have 3 editors, you dingus. This dude could have been one of them had he asked instead of stopped talking for months and then seeing if there was a full-time job available and then blast this on every subreddit instead of trying to reach me. Doesn't talk to me for months, asked if a full-time position is available. I don't see his last DM in the sea of unread DMs, at which point he could have just reached out again, or my mods, but instead he posted in every subreddit and got cell phone to oblivion. And then she says, the fact you blame 100% of this on him is exactly what pisses me off about you. You didn't just admit that maybe you handled this badly. Yeah, he should have been more assertive, but you're the content creator and he was obviously a fan of yours. Stop blaming it all on him. San says, if I thought I was 100% in the right and there was no miscommunication, I wouldn't have compensated him despite the fact that he never asked me to, when literally everyone who has seen this issue from an unbiased lens is on my side. I'm not really sure about everybody, seeing this issue from an unbiased lens being on his side. I'm not really sure about that one. Someone says, I don't think that's a healthy way to argue. Why does everyone who sees something wrong with the millionaire not paying their editor have to come from a biased lens? He says, people literally think I'm a millionaire. I want a blank. I mean, he's certainly on his way to being a millionaire in a couple years. I mean, assuming, the trajectory remains, even if he just keeps making what he's making now. I mean, he's certainly going to be there pretty quickly, especially with his stream continuing to grow. So he's really not that, far off, but just even being worth $1 million isn't anything crazy. But not paying an editor when you clearly have the money to do so is definitely wrong. And then this continued on, too. He says, please pay me for making you somewhat relevant by acknowledging your idiotic subtweet. I really need it to pay my editors. This tweet is just really weird to me. It doesn't really make any sense. I don't know. It's trying to just kind of make it seem as if, I don't know, she's trying to do this for money or for attention or something like that, which is pretty ridiculous. I mean, Claudia doesn't really try to do that. She kind of does the opposite of that, if anything. So it seems like kind of a weird criticism, and just a bit of a dumb one. Someone says, I love you, but your rationale wasn't great here. YouTube not being profitable doesn't change the fact this person did work for you. And also, you made decent money on Twitch. Also, Claudia subtweeting is a coward's game. Just at the guy next time. She says, I didn't at him because I was hiding it. I just have nothing to say to him. I think he's a giant hypocrite and words are cheap. When it came time to either exploit someone's labor and use it for free or pay them, he chose the former, so I don't care what he has to say. And then he responds saying, literally every annoying leftist stereotype on the internet wrapped up into one. Go post a PayPal link after a viral thread for emotional labor. Again, really weird. And he sometimes gets like this, Hasan's a very emotional, sort of bizarre person, so he kind of does some bizarre stuff like this. Again, the idea that, like, Claudia, of all people, is trying to do anything for money is pretty ridiculous. Again, just kind of insane. I just don't know what's going on here. I think you might be losing it. Just one thing, again, not all of us are here for cash. I'll give you $50 if you can find anything recent for me asking money. She says, honestly, Hasan can just go blank himself. He's a big egotistical baby anytime someone gives him criticism and just seems incapable of reflecting on his actions or owning his mistakes. Instead, he just gives petty insults that resemble something Rice Gum would say. Seriously, just being a child about this. The way he blames this all on the editor pisses me off is all really. He acts like the editor is being totally unreasonable to feel used. And then he responds saying, I'm mad. He never asked me for anything, but it's of course reasonable. I said like $15,000. I would have paid him had he ever asked me, and also still paid him after all this. when I had no reason to do so other than a moral obligation, but keep going, please. So yeah, some weird stuff going on here. I mean, big controversy. Well, I don't know if it's a huge controversy. To me, it seems like Claudia already hates Hasan prior to this, because it seems like to me anybody who's gonna have like a sort of response that's that sort of hard in one direction, you're probably already very biased in one side. So it's very clear like she has some sort of underlying, dislike for Hasan, and this is kind of the time to take it all out because it's like a good time for her. I think that this isn't a big deal. I really don't see all the controversy in this. Could he have done a better job? Yeah, of course. But I don't really see this as being a big deal. It seems to be a bit overblown. Not that there are all that many people really, most of the time it ends up being just sort of meme material that gets used by the fans of Destiny to troll him. To troll him, basically, is usually what ends up happening, whether it be like paywall Piker or whatever memes that they use. But I don't think this is really that big of a deal. Like, yeah, he messed up, the editor messed up, but it's not really that big of a deal. I mean, that's just the way I gotta put it. But that's a breakdown of the situation. I guess let me know your thoughts on this down below. My opinion is it's not a big deal. He may have messed up, the editor messed up, but all in all, who cares?